Hey family, hey family, hey family. It is your girl, Mrs. Michelle Allen Franklin. Yes, honey, Mrs. Michelle D.I. Why? For divine intervention, honey, because you know there are no coincidences in this world. Only God's divine intervention in our lives. And Mrs. Community Builder, why? Because you know your girl gonna give you the good information, boo, the things you need for your mind, your body, your spirit, and your emotions. And y'all know it is the month of March, honey. I know y'all watching. I know y'all been watching, honey. This has been too good not to watch, baby. The whole month of March, I've been talking to phenomenal, amazing women that inspire and empower my walk, my day to day, honey. And today, I have an amazing woman. I have an amazing woman, honey. This beautiful spirit right here, her voice. Yes, her voice every Sunday morning gets us into the ushers in the spirit of God, gets us into the mood and ready to receive the word. Honey, y'all know I loves me a good choir. I loves me a good song. And this songbird right here. This songbird right here, honey, the spirit moves and flows through her in a way like I've never seen flow through a young person. And I am just inspired by you every Sunday, honey, because you just be doing it. Miss Crystal Wynn is here with me. How you doing, Crystal?
Thank you for the introduction. That was beautiful. I love it.
Yes, honey. Yes, yes, yes. Crystal is one of those people, honey. She don't know what she be doing. The spirit take over. She don't know what she be doing. But I'm telling you, when I say the spirit moves through her, honey, the spirit be moving.
It's all God.
I know that's right. Look, I know that's right. Oh, Crystal, tell the people a little bit about yourself and how did you even get started? You are the minister of music. I don't want to start with today because I know you didn't just start with
Ah,
this. Go back a little bit and tell us how did you even start singing? How did you even get into singing?
woo. Okay, so I kind of preempt you a little bit with that. I come from a singing family. My mother is a singer, Sherilyn Dews, and my
Mhm.
father, Kevin Wynn, he's a singer. It even goes back further than that. My grandparents, the Reverend F.M. Dews, and
Wow.
Wynn, and then just a plethora of family members that sing. So um, I started at Starville CME Church. That's where I was born. The church I was born into. Uh,
Starving.
yeah, all down there, 757.
Yeah.
So it that's where my journey started. I started singing there. I don't really remember how
Yeah.
old I was when I really came into my voice. I just know that for a long time I didn't want to sing. I know this.
Wow.
For a long time I did not want to sing. My dad was a director of all choirs at our church.
Mhm.
My mother was a musician. She started there. That's how she met my dad. She started there at our home church, and then she's a pianist as well. And
Mhm.
my dad plays saxophone. So music is just it's deep.
Music is all around you.
But when I tell you, like, I've gotten a whooping before for not wanting to sing, that's where I was.
Oh my goodness.
And just through once I really developed my voice, once I really came to love music, because I love all types of music. I
Yeah.
don't limit myself when it comes to music. I love gospel, of course, R&B, jazz.
Yes.
I do contemporary rock. I like
Mhm.
blues,
Wow.
whatever, country.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I just like it's multifaceted. So I just love music.
Yes.
But I probably would say like when I was around 12, maybe that's when my voice started really getting into
Suddenly,
the
something in your
development.
voice like, oh, maybe.
Yeah, singing with my aunts and my mama, little backgrounds,
Oh,
whatever
that's
they let
cool.
me. Uh,
Yeah.
and then started to sing solos at church and stuff like that. That's kind of where it all started.
And
Just
you
like
know what? I think too, when you come, well, like I know for me, my family is a family of singers as well. And so when you come from a family of singers and you're like, I can't sing like that, like you are really comparing yourself to probably your mom and everybody else is belting out these big voices and all of this stuff. And so it does create this thing like, I can't do that. Was that like some of your
Man,
apprehension?
uh, so being here in Tyler, Texas, okay, I promise you, I feel like everybody knows my mama.
Yeah.
The, if you've heard my mama sing. She got that Patti LaBelle feel going
Yes.
on,
Yes.
And then you've
And
heard
she
my
ain't
dad
afraid to
sing.
use it.
My dad came to church and sung once before. He
Yes.
got that. He got that. I always compare him to like Luther Vandross and Tim
Yes.
type of growl,
Yes. That baritone, beautiful. Yes. Tone. Yes.
Just trying to come behind them, I was like, yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
And my voice is so different from theirs to me.
Yeah.
I think my mama being a very strong soprano, my daddy being a baritone, I'm kind of in between. So
Yeah.
I can get those high notes, but I can also go low, like a contralto,
Mm-hmm.
like a lower alto. But
Mm-hmm.
man, the pressure. My aunts, the dude sisters, that's what they did.
Yes.
They go from churches. My grandfather was a minister, so he had a church. They travel and go sing. If he needed to
Yes.
preach somewhere else, they travel and go sing. So I watched it growing up. And then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, my dad sang at everything. He was singing weddings. He was singing funerals. He was singing, he was just that. He was that man. So
Yes.
coming behind all that, girl, I was like, where do I fit in? Where do
Yeah.
I fit in? I would honestly tell you that R&B music is probably what kind of pushed me out there. What kind of started me developing that into. I'm not even gonna say middle school because I was still real timid and shy, but high
Mm-hmm.
school,
Okay.
my freshman year, sophomore year, hanging with people who sing, and
Mm-hmm.
we developed friendships and bonded off of singing, and
Yes.
that's where it started. And that was the very first time, probably around by 15, that I touched the keyboard or a piano.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, because your mom plays, you
Hmm.
know, your dad plays.
He plays saxophone.
Your dad plays the saxophone only, but yeah, your mom plays it. I promise you, your mom get up there, she'd be like, ding, 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 and then she do all the things. So I could
And
just
and
imagine.
be up there, doing her.
I
So,
could just imagine. I could just imagine. But the beautiful part is that, everything that you were experiencing was normal. You know what I mean? That's like normal for that age range. As a teenager, you are, looking at everyone else and trying to figure out who you are in this world and where you fit and all of that. And so now, okay, you in high school and you around some other girls that's singing and he was like, "Girl, we form a group." Who said something about forming a group? How did that
uh,
come about?
so, me and April, my ear guy. Me and April, that's our other church member.
Mhm.
We went to elementary school with each other, and then we went to different middle schools, and then we reconnected in high school, and so it was just like we were in band together. And it was some other people in band that could sing too, but we would start singing. My cousin Tracy Bailey at the time, he was there. I know you'd heard the Bailey singers too. Like he was in the band too, and so he'd be like, "Come on, cuz, let's sing something." And so it would start from there, and then April
Yeah,
could sing.
yeah,
So like one day, I don't know, girl, we was I just chilling, and we was just like we started coming up with these songs. We would always be writing songs, and
I
we called
love it.
ourselves Unique. And we spelled it UNIKUE.
I love it. I love it.
That's nostalgic
That's
right
high school
there.
right there. That's high school, baby.
Right?
Yes.
Uh, we we just came up because we wanted to be so different because we were just not
Yes.
like everybody else. We was like, we unique, you know. And then
Yeah.
we had two other girls, well, three other girls that came in, and then it was just like I don't know, girl. We would be in the choir room. That's when like I said, I started playing. I had a little keyboard at home. Uh,
Mhm.
it was my stepmom's, and I started using it and all that, just learning chords like my mama. I
Yeah.
naturally could hear music, you know, I
Yes.
could hear the notes. So I knew what I wanted it to sound like.
Wow.
And we wrote our little first song. We would go after school, go to the choir room, go sing it, and that's literally
I love
how we
it.
started performing and how people started knowing that we could sing was by doing that. And eventually it became, oh yeah, I know Crystal Wynn. You talking about the girl that sing? Oh, I know, you know. And
Yes.
that's basically how we started. Uh, it started spreading so much that by the time I was a senior in high school, my principal asked me to sing the national anthem at my graduation.
Oh, that's amazing.
Girl, that was nerve wracking. And at the time, Reverend Rodney Curry was my choir teacher. He also sent me to state. I got a chance to go to state for the first time. I,
Wow.
singing. And he worked with me on the national anthem for our graduation. That was the most nervous thing
I love it.
that I ever did. But not realizing that it kind of, it's like, man, that's a big responsibility.
Big.
Um, it kind of just like was a catalyst for, opening up other things. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So,
Yes. You have the exposure, and the other thing, like we've talked about, I've talked with other people this month, other women this month, just about, you know, other people seeing something in you that you don't even see in yourself. Other people knowing and hearing your voice, and you're like, you
girl,
know what I mean? Because, like you said, there were other singers there.
it was
Why were you the one? You know what
right.
I mean?
I
And
didn't,
so,
I didn't ask, and
yeah,
I'm not the type of person that I gloat. I'm not pompous about my singing. I'm not. I'm not that type of person that's just like, oh yeah, well yeah, you need to go on and get. No, I've never been that type of
yeah,
person. And so I used to say, let your work speak for you. So
yes,
it's just like when people were coming to me, I still get nervous. I have been asked to do a lot of things. I still get nervous when people ask me to do stuff.
yeah,
But had I not stepped out on it, I would have never got a chance to be a part of a play. Uh,
yes,
you know, the J.F. Bailey Productions, I was a part of that. I would have never got a chance to do these things. I would have never got a chance to become a musician. Had I
right.
had I just kind of stayed in my shell, it took a while, but yeah,
I love it, honey. Get on up out that shell, girl.
I know.
You don't belong in there.
I I don't, and every day I'm trying to tell myself, hey, we're a little bit stronger today.
I
So,
love it, but you know what it is you even hear the greatest, musicians. I feel like if you don't get a little nervous, you know what I mean, something wrong. You know what I
my
mean?
daddy always said that a good nervous is
But you
powerful.
should be a good nervous, yeah, because you're going to knock it out the park. Like, you're going to knock it out the park because you're gifted, and like you said, everyone can't hear music. Everyone can't write music. Everyone can't sing music. Like, people can sing, but they can't sing music. You know what I mean? Like, it's different. And so,
Yeah. And I probably missed out on some opportunities. Uh, my mama, Lord have mercy, she would push me, girl, you need to go to American Idol. You need to go to The Voice. You need to go to Sunday's Best. And I was like, Mama, I just don't know about that. I don't know if I'm that good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and I was psych myself. You psych yourself out. You miss
Mhm.
out on opportunities. And
Yeah.
those are things that we really have to pray about and try to get past that anxiety, try to
Yes.
get past that worry. Because had I really pursued it, would I probably be doing something? Probably.
Yeah.
I'm sure, because I would have met the right people, or gone to the right places.
Right.
Sometimes it's all
Somebody would
about
have seen
who
you.
you know. You know,
Mm,
all about timing.
yes.
But when we try to wait for the right time, that's when we miss out, because there's
Yeah.
no such thing
There's no such thing as the right time.
as the right time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I speak a lot and I teach a lot about fear because I did not know fear is a subconscious stronghold and
man,
it will hold you hostage if you allow it, right? It only lets you, I picture it and when I teach about it, I see, you know how they have those dogs on a chain. You know, they're in their little house and then they're trying to run out and they can only go so far. And then it yanks them back.
yank it back. Yeah,
That's fear. You
it
know,
is.
you can only go so far. It's gonna yank you back, but you don't even understand that you had the key, right? You had the key the whole time. Like it's almost like you've subconsciously put this thing on your neck, and you like, I can't go anywhere else because I got this thing on my neck. I got this chain.
And that does stem back from childhood.
Yes.
You know, being able to wonder if you're gonna be good enough to do so, or who gonna appreciate it and like it. But that's been the problem, is
Yeah.
that we become so focused on who
Yes.
is going to appreciate something that was innately given to you, or
Given.
who is going to appreciate a gift that didn't come
Mhm.
from man per
Exactly.
se. It came generational, yes, but what I'm saying, that gift coming from man, like coming from God, that's something
Yeah.
was given, kind of like children, how they're a
Yes.
blessing, how they're a gift. And
Yes.
so it was just, fear is the biggest enemy.
Yes, it
It
is.
is. It's the biggest enemy, and to this day, this is something that I still struggle with. It's something that
Mhm.
I constantly have to pray and meditate about, because it's like, Lord, I don't want to hold that. I don't want that.
Yes.
I'm 40 years old, and you would be like, well, you think you get over that? No, no, you don't. No, no.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
It is. It is. And what I've learned is one, if you don't know it's there, you don't really know that it's there. But once you realize that it's there, you have to be very intentional because again, that's a spiritual stronghold. Like that's a tool of the devil. He's using that like
It
very
definitely creates
strategically to hold
quiet.
you hostage. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so you have to be very strategic in knowing who you are
Mm-hmm.
and whose you are and step and fully walk in that thing. Because that's what I find, like, what I found with myself, I only teach about myself and my journey, is that I know I said I believe, I said I can do this, I said it.
Mm-hmm.
Was I fully walking in
Are you walking in it? That stride, listen, that that's different when you got to be the one to take the reins,
it?
or
Yes,
when you got to be the one to lead the pack, or be that example of what you talking. When they say you walking that walk, you talking that talk, but can you walk that walk?
yes,
It's basically the same thing.
yeah,
And I guess with me, it was just like, yo, I can do all of it. I
mhm,
can. And then as soon as it's time, it's like, oh my God, I'm scared. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. But,
yeah, yeah,
you
that's
know,
real.
it's so real. But I'm telling you, man, God, woo, had it
Yeah,
not been for the Holy Spirit and the Most High Himself, when I tell you that, baby, I wouldn't have been able to do half the things, even with the fear.
yeah,
Okay, even if it had not been for God. And so I just try to remember to cast my worries onto Him, and even with praying. So
yes,
that journey with the church,
yes. Yes. That's
that
what
was.
I feel like. You kicked fear's butt a little bit with that because you stepped on out and you were saying you weren't comfortable, you didn't feel like you could do it, you had all these thoughts, but when Uncle Ricky reached out to play at the church,
He did.
you know,
It's always been Uncle Ricky. Okay. It has always been brother Ricky gonna make sure something get done. He gonna make sure somebody know. Listen, I don't know if it killed me. I'm gonna try to do it. Be
I
like,
know
brother
that's
Ricky,
right.
calm down a little bit, yeah. But no, if it had not been for him, I guess searching and looking, and my
Yeah.
mama staying on my behind, about trying to step into my gift, then
Yes.
I wouldn't be there. I would not be there. 2012 was me embarking on a whole new avenue journey, you know, and I was going through some very heavy and very dark personal things
Mm-hmm.
around that time too that nobody knew about,
Yeah.
except for maybe close relatives. But I try not to display that. I
Mm-hmm.
try not to wear that when I'm in the presence of, other people, especially at church.
Yeah.
But then again, that's where you can leave it too. And so I think
Mm-hmm.
the music, I think playing and taking on that position, that was a big gateway. That was a
Yeah.
big opening of God saying, hey, there's more.
Yes.
This ain't it. This is not
Yes.
your final destination right here. You're not gonna stay here, not in this darkness.
Yes.
Whatever it takes to get you where I need you to be
Yes.
is what we doing. And so that's what I'm saying. That was a God thing.
Yeah.
Brother Ricky was a God thing. Cause had he not reached out to my mama, ain't no telling what I would be doing. I'm not saying that I wouldn't be playing, but I think that, like I said, that was all God. That was all him saying, let's get this started. So
I love that. God will always send you a little ram in the bush, baby. Won't
he
he though?
definitely did. He
Won't he
definitely
though?
did.
I
He
posted that
definitely
today
did.
that he will send you like you don't even know that you need it at the time because you're just surviving. I think as women, I call it we going and we being and we doing. We taking the kids, we take care of the husband, we doing the thing, we going doing our day to day. We got to go to work, all of the things, you know. And God is like, I have a work for you to do. Oh, okay, but I got to do this, you know.
It's total fight or flight mode
Yeah,
constantly, and nobody wants to live in that all
yeah,
the time.
yeah,
It's tough when you try to compartmentalize everything,
yes,
even your personal life,
mhm,
even your darkness, your dark days, your disappointments, your hurt, your sadness. You trying to you are trying to juggle all
yeah,
that while trying to save face. You know what I mean?
yes,
Keeping a smile on your face and
yes.
be hurting so bad on the
I
inside,
do.
but you don't want to let people know. You don't want to look like what you're going through. And
Right.
I'm telling you that I'm a prime example of that because people do not know half
Mm-hmm.
of where I was in my
Yeah,
spirit.
yeah,
There was a time when me and God didn't see eye to eye. You know,
yeah.
we wasn't communicating.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little resentful,
Yes,
and this was all the time when I was playing for the church,
sure.
and nobody really knew that. But I tell you what, Reverend Dorsey kind of did. I think he did. I think the spirit was going through him, and I would be receiving things that he would be preaching about, and
Yeah,
it like he was in my back seat.
yeah,
And I remember Reverend Dorsey saying, like, your gift is bigger than whatever's going on. Now, if I ain't telling you what's going on and you saying it,
sure.
that type of thing,
Yes,
then
Lord.
I know. I was like, okay, guys, so you want me to stay centered around this music thing. This is what's going to help me get out of whatever I'm in, is
Yeah.
by staying committed to it. Can you have compassion for yourself through your own struggles?
Wow.
So that was, that was something. And
Yeah.
I still decided to stay dedicated,
Yes.
even through my personal, deepest, darkest things that I was going through. Yeah, music. I mean,
I'm telling you, music is powerful. People do not give music enough credit. And
No.
that's why I speak about it a lot as well. It's a therapeutic regimen, like literally.
Oh
It is
yeah.
a therapeutic regimen. And the one thing that I know whenever I was going through, I would always escape through music.
Hmm.
You know, you would see me come in that church, like you're saying, I was in my darkest days coming through there and coming through that church. I had suicidal thoughts coming to church every Sunday. I've
Yeah.
had, you know what I mean? I mean, just darkness. Nobody knew because what we do as church folk, we put on that front, we come in, we're smiling because it's a programming. You know, you're on autopilot. Oh, you got to make it through this hour and a half. I could smile through an hour and a half. Oh yeah, hey girl, how you doing? Oh yeah, you get home and it comes off and it gets real, but you back in autopilot. You doing and you don't even know. 1 out of 5 people are doing that. Out of everyone, one out
Oh,
of 5 people.
baby, I listened recently.
That's the only people we know
That,
about.
that's recent for me. You
Yeah,
know, I was going through situations, personal situations, um, where suicidal thoughts pop back in my head.
yeah,
And if I tell people that, people are looking at me like, not you, you too blessed, you too this. I get that.
yeah,
But I'm human. And
exactly.
even though I try not to complain, because I don't want to seem like I'm ungrateful for whatever God is doing for me and with me.
Yeah,
God is the one, that's the one entity that I can be the realest with. If I
yes,
can't be real with nobody else,
yeah,
I can be real with him. You know
mhm,
why? Because he knows everything. He knows
exactly.
every move, every thought. And my thoughts might not always be the purest. I tell you something, I hadn't cried in a long time. And it was like that night when I had hit my breaking point, I cried profusely. Like I cried so hard and I was crying out like
Yeah,
I deserve this and I don't deserve that. And God, know why in this? And I know we're not supposed to question God, but I asked a question to God
yes,
because
yes,
I was like, Lord, what we got going on here?
right,
What's going on? And I needed that. I needed to purge.
yes,
I needed to release that, you know.
yes,
And so I have been listening to different things to help my mind, you know, stuff to help me, you know, just get in a different mind frame. And then God let me know, He was like, you know what it is? You so focused and worried about everybody else, you forgetting about me. Number one. Number two, you forgetting about you.
yes,
What are
yes,
we doing here? You know, it was basically like he was saying that, like, what are we doing here? How
yes,
you gonna put something else before me? That's
yes,
your idol right now. Is that what you
yes.
want? Absolutely not. Not only that, you are so not remembering the love that I have equipped you with
Wow.
that you are beating yourself up for something you have no control over. I said, okay.
Ooh.
I was like, all right.
Mhm.
Look, I said, okay, all
Wow.
right, all right. And it's like after that, God had to, He had to bring me back,
Yeah,
and He was like, okay. So now that we got that out the way, now that you were able to do that because that was something that you needed to do,
yeah,
you gonna let me work, or you want to continue to carry that load? Because I didn't tell you to do that in the first place. And also, do you see your wrongs? Do you see your faults?
yeah,
Do you see what you did?
yes,
Where you implemented yourself and I didn't tell you to do that?
yes,
Because that's what God is going to do. He's going to have to show you, you know, He's got to show you,
yeah,
like, when we're disobedient or when we decide to move on our own, hey, I
yes,
love you, but you still got to see your consequence. You know, you got to see what's consequential and what's not. You know what I mean? Like, you got
yeah,
to see what is going to benefit you and what's not. And if it ain't helping you grow in me, what we got going on?
What we
What you
doing? What
doing?
we doing?
So once again, and so I started telling myself, I said, girl, center yourself back into the things that you love doing.
Yes.
I love writing. You love
Yes.
music. You like to sing. Focus on those things because those put you in a happy place. They put
Yes.
you in a place also where you can tell your story without having to tell your story. Because a
Mm.
listening ear is not always a listening ear.
That's right.
I saw a thing that popped up on it was a message or something I guess I wrote on one of my little apps, and it said more communication does not always equal great communication.
That's good.
And I said, oh well, that makes so much sense to me
Less is
because
more sometimes. That's so true.
just because we communicating
Hmm.
more doesn't
Yeah,
mean that we are communicating effectively.
that's right. That's right.
And that's been the problem.
That's right.
I had to get back to the source of my main communication, which is God, praying a lot more because I noticed that I wasn't praying as much. I noticed that I wasn't talking to God as much like I used to. Not
Yeah.
talking to Him about my problems, but just talking to Him, just
Yeah.
conversing.
Yeah.
Um, just being more grounded, just doing things to keep me from being so heavy laden. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, girl, that was all like
Yeah.
last week. I kid you not.
Wow.
And nobody would ever know that unless
Yeah.
I said something. Because I'm not. It's not that I'm putting on a facade. It's just that I felt like, what is it going to do anybody any good for them to know if this is a void that they really can't help me with? Now I can ask for prayer, and
Yeah.
it's much accepted and needed. But I don't need anybody to physically do anything for me. I will just accept the prayer. Just, hey, just keep me in prayer. Because
Yeah.
if I say that, I mean that. Just keep
Yes.
me in prayer. You
Yeah.
okay? I'm doing all right. That's as much as I can tell you.
Yeah.
Am I great? Not right now. Am I doing okay? Yes. Just keep
Yeah.
me in prayer.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
That's
But
that's yea, though I walk through the valley of the valley of death, baby. You walking through
right,
the valley right now.
right.
You know, I'm
And
going through the
my
valley.
belly gets a little heavy
Hmm.
sometimes.
Hmm.
Even the minister of music. I tell you what, musicians deal with a lot, baby. We musicians deal with a lot. Singers deal with
Yeah.
a lot, and especially gospel singers. It is hard when you are trying to have a walk, but
Yes.
you still got the world around you. And no, you don't want to straddle the fence. You don't want to be lukewarm. But it is so hard to constantly keep fighting off demons and devils and all this other kind of stuff, and also your own choices and your own decision making. You fight against that. Fighting
Yeah.
against what? The spirit and principality. You fight against your own flesh. You know what
Definitely.
I mean? You fighting on what's dwelling on the inside.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yes.
it's
Spiritual warfare is real.
it's
Spiritual warfare
real.
is real.
It's definitely real.
And especially when you're gifted, I feel like, one, Jonathan McReynolds say, the
Oh,
devil learns from your mistakes, even if you don't. You know what I
oh
mean? That's how he keeps you in cycles. Isn't that right?
baby, I love him. His
Yes.
his album Truth. I
Yes.
played that album back to back to back to back last. That's what I'm saying. Last week, even up to every song on there that he has on this most current album that he has,
Yes.
Truth. I listen to those so much because that one song when he talking about, it ain't worth stressing about. That's how he opened up. He said it's basically saying like life is it's not worth stressing about. You don't hear the lilies. They ain't worried about stuff. The
Yes.
birds ain't worried about
The
stuff.
birds ain't
Why are
worried,
you?
baby. The
You
birds
know.
ain't worried. Yeah.
So baby, he is my go-to. I love me
Yes.
some Jonathan McReynolds. Okay, he's a storyteller. I love
Yes. His albums. Yeah.
it. Right.
His albums are what has gotten me this last 10 years as I was listening to music and finding music. And Marley is the one who introduced me to Jonathan McReynolds.
Love him because he is so he's so open
Yes,
and he doesn't keep himself in a box of just religion. He know who God is,
yes.
and he doesn't placate on that just because he
Mhm.
knows. He is so transparent in his music about life, about things that's going on, and that's probably why I resonate with him so heavily. I love his music. My friend Stephanie, she introduced me. She is a big fan of his. She met him, went to the concert. So I met him, I think, and she is the one who was like, "Girl, you really need to listen to his album. You really need to listen to him." And I'm glad she did it because,
Yes,
baby,
yes,
I've been stuck on him and the
yes,
Walls. I love the Walls group.
yeah,
Um, all of them, and they all have personal things too. They're not
yes.
perfect. People are not perfect.
People not perfect.
Leandria, I listen to her. She not perfect. Baby. She just had a little incident. She not
I know,
perfect.
I know.
I don't look at that. I don't look at
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
I don't look at the shortcomings because we all fall. That's what I'm
we
saying. Like
all,
we all dealing with some major demons
yes.
sometimes. I'm just
What
saying.
you
So
thought?
we just have to learn how to try to have a little bit more compassion on
Yes,
those things. Try not to judge the heart. We can call out the spirit, but don't always
mhm.
judge the heart because you don't really know. That's between them and God. But you
Yes,
call out the spirit because if you know the faith and how God works, you know when you running up on something that's demonic. You know
yes,
when you running up on something that is not of God. You
yes,
call that, but
yes,
judge a person's heart and their willingness. If they trying, that's between them and God. It's already hard enough to deal with life, and so we gonna make some bad decisions and we gonna make some bad choices. But it's all about trying to become a better version each day and trying to find a way to just get more of Him.
let me tell you something. The spirit of suicide is real. It's very demonic.
Oh yeah.
It is very strategic. It knows your insecurities. It knows, the right things to say. When I think of that spirit, any demonic spirit, I see him sitting up here on my shoulder whispering all this negative things in my ear. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's hard to not listen. Sometimes you just there, and sometimes you like, well, what you doing that for? Well, don't nobody care. Well, this, that, and I heard all kinds of crazy when you're in that space. And a thing that I recognize the most is people that are walking in purpose, the ripple effect, right, of me committing suicide, the ripple effect of you committing suicide, the ripple effect of anyone committing suicide. You don't even understand what that's going to do to the people that you touch that you don't even know that you touch. When I said something to you, you didn't even know how much you've blessed me in these 10 years that I've known you. I've said a little something to you, but when I say I will come to church in darkness, and your voice is what carried me because I gravitate to music. Before I hear the pastor, I gravitate to music. I always have since I was young, like you, like because of Kurt Franklin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because my cousin introduced me to Kurt Franklin. That's I always gravitate to. I need that positive, and so the way that your voice comes out, the way that you bless us every Sunday, you know, girl, to know something happened to you, that would have just been. Do you hear me? Like you don't even understand, and that's why he's on you the way he is,
I,
because
I believe
because
it.
you are the ripple effect of what you do, and even the people that don't even say anything. But his job is to kill, to come and kill and destroy, right? Kill, steal, and destroy. You know that. But it doesn't stop those feelings from coming. And so I'm just saying out there to somebody who might be, somebody must be going through it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like God is a just because God. Like, we don't. things don't just come up just because.
Well, like Travis Green said, he's intentional. I
He's very
mean,
intentional.
he is deeply intentional.
Yeah.
And there are like that's what I said. Suicide, domestic violence, all of that I've dealt with.
Mm,
We deal with family trouble. We deal with spousal trouble. We deal with all kind of stuff. We just deal with stuff.
yeah.
Anything that can invoke your mind and your spirit and make you feel like you ain't worth living,
Yeah.
we know
It's
it's not God.
yeah.
We
It's
know that it's the easiest tactic for the devil is the mind. He's a
yeah.
mind manipulator.
Yes, he is.
You get what I'm saying? That's it's the easiest.
Yes.
And that's why I try not to keep my mind idle
Mm-hmm.
for long periods of time. And I'm not saying that it doesn't go into that because sometimes we can get into that mindset if things are just not moving the way we need them to or something. Or if, like you said, ripple effect.
Yeah.
If it's a ripple effect of events. If
Mm-hmm.
it ain't this, it's this. If it ain't
Right.
that, it's that. If it ain't, and it can happen back to back to
And
back
it does.
simultaneously
It
out of
does.
nowhere. And then I
Mm-hmm.
remember what Reverend Dorsey used to say about that scheduled trouble. He said, sometimes God schedules trouble just to see what you do.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just happens because he needs to know where your faith lies. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that too. And that's
Yeah.
hard. That is
Mm.
hard.
Surely.
That is so hard.
It really is.
And I even listen to Pastor now and just how she is calling out things that, we are struggling with the
Yes.
spirit.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not gonna call you out because you look a certain way or you dress a certain way or you walk a certain way, not necessarily. I'm just not gonna call you out because of that. I'm calling you by your spirit.
Yes.
And if the spirit is in need of deliverance, she's here for it.
Let me tell you
We're
something.
here for it. And it's time for that
Yes. Yes.
because there is no reason why the thought of suicide or the spirit of that
Yeah.
should be consuming so many people or trying to take over, what I
Mhm.
mean? That doubt, that fear,
Yes.
all of it, that anxiety, that worry. Like, I was on medication for that for a long time. And then I
Mhm.
stopped, you know. I haven't had a therapist yet, and I need one, and I'm not
Yeah.
ashamed to say that
Yeah.
because I feel like everybody needs to have wise counsel, even if
Yes.
it's not just in the ministry. It needs to be professionally also. If you need that, sometimes you need that, and that's
Yes.
okay. People should
Exactly.
not shame that because that is so important.
Yes.
It is needed.
Very
Not
true.
necessarily medicine, or if you are holistic like myself, or you want to do things more naturally, even still talking to somebody and seeing what you can do to help you, doing something therapeutic is okay.
That's right.
So yeah, girl. But that's why I said music for me is therapeutic.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is. And I gotta get the piano moved in here, so I haven't had it in here yet. I'm getting one from the church. They blessed me with that. And
Yeah.
so once it's in here, baby, that's what I'm saying. Like I pick back up on that. I'm constantly playing. I can be singing and recording and doing all kind of stuff for hours because that's just what I like to do with my little raspy voice. So that's just something I like to do.
Yes.
But yeah, that's music. Is just, man, God is good.
Yes,
Cause
he is.
if it weren't for that, and that's why I try not to take advantage of the blessing. I try not to take advantage of the gift, or take it for granted. Let me say that because my mama used to say all the time, "You don't use it, he gonna take it away." You know how much that scared me, girl. You know how much that scared me.
Yes.
I was
Yes.
like, "What you mean, Mama? What you mean? He gonna snatch my voice? He gonna take my?" She was
Every
like, "Baby,
time you
no."
get a sore throat, you're like, oh my goodness, what did I do?
She
Lord,
like,
I'm sorry.
and she used to be like, "Yeah, if you don't use it, that's why you need to be doing something with it." And I was like, "Mama,"
That
and
is so funny.
I tell her, I said, "Mama, I do something with it every Sunday. I do something with it every Sunday. Every Sunday, I get an opportunity to try to be a blessing to somebody. I don't, like I said, I don't gloat about that. I don't see here. You'll never hear me. I am very humble about that. You will
Yeah.
never hear me be like, "Oh, it's my turn to do that." Even with the choir, you don't never hear me be like, "I'm gonna take this." I'm always open
You
to
are. You're
to
really pushing
anybody
people to sing. Yes. I
who
love
want
that
to
about
sing
you.
this,
Right.
who want to lead this. Do you think I'm worried about how you like? I'm worried about how you sound, of course, because naturally I sing and I can hear music. But you think I'm gonna critique that heavily and we worry about if it sounds just like the record or sound? No, I
Right.
want God to use everybody,
Yeah.
not
I
just
love
those
that about you too. Yes.
who sing the best or
Right.
sing like this. I want Him to use everybody, and I'm gonna try to help you where
Yeah.
I can.
Yes. Yeah. And you don't even know, like that provides so much confidence. I can remember being young in the choir, and I'm not a lead. I don't consider myself a lead singer. I can hold a note, but I don't consider myself a lead. And we had a church function at another church. You know how they combine the choirs and you go, all the choirs come and combine. And we
Mhm.
had practice, and the man put me in charge. I can't even tell you who it was, but he gave me a lead song. And so we sitting at the event, and the choir director at the time, she was like, "How you leading? You don't come to somebody else's church and lead a song." But he did exactly what you said, Crystal. He gave me the confidence to, because he was like, you have a nice voice. You're in the choir. You can lead this song. You can do this. And I can remember when, I could hear that was Bishop Washington was our bishop, our pastor at that point, and his wife was out in the audience, and she was saying, "Come on, Michelle, come on and sing." And that just gave me the confidence. I remember everything relaxed, and I was able to sing the song, and I felt pretty good. And we came back to our church, and she was trying to get me to sing that song, and I was like, "Mm-mm, I can't sing."
Look, they said, "Oh no, girl, you done got up there and did that. Now you ready."
Yeah,
But
I was like,
and you know what? That's exactly how I feel when folks start leading songs. Oh, you ready? You ready? You are ready now. I don't want to. If I come to you and be like, "Hey, you want to sing this?" Please, don't. I don't think I. Yes, you can. Because if you did it once, you can
yeah,
do it again. That's
yeah,
how I feel about it. I'm not gonna. I do not. You don't
yeah,
have to be the best singer.
yeah. I think that helps
Where's your
because it
praise?
allows somebody else to find their voice. It gives them that permission. It really does. And
And
that's
we can work on that. But where is the ministry coming from? The
yeah,
ministry is coming from what is being said,
exactly.
how your spirit is flowing through it when
Yes.
you singing it. You got
Yeah.
to be the best singer to do that.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I love it. I love it. Well, we have to wrap up right now. Oh my gosh, honey, I can talk to you the spirit, the way God moves. I know we weren't intentionally planning to go there and get that deep, but we got deep today.
Hey,
We
girl,
got
you
deep
did
today.
you pulled it out of me because I know I told you nervous, child. People don't like they may not believe it, but I am the most introverted, extroverted person you come ever meet. It's like I can do this behind the camera, but if
Right.
this was in person, I might be a little bit more nervous. So yeah. It was nice. It was fun.
Yes, yes. I said, girl, it's just a conversation. Come on, girl.
You right.
Got
It
to talk
is.
to you. Got to talk to you because I mean, again, the way that in this 10 years that I've been home, just watching your growth, you know, and watching how the Lord is moving. And um, it doesn't matter what has been going on in your life. Like you said, when you show up to church, you show up to church. And whatever it is, you have left it behind. And you show up and the Spirit of God moves through you. And it's so evident each and every Sunday, and watching you grow and just seeing how the Lord is using you and has, developed your voice. I can just see how much more confident you are and more comfortable you are, just seeing you grow. And it's just been beautiful to watch. I'm just grateful for it. I'm grateful God blessed Look, he blessed us with you, to be our
I'm
minister
blessed to be.
of
I
music.
am blessed to be accepted.
Yes. Yes, I know that's a whole nother thing. I know that's a whole nother thing. Now, as we wrap up, I'm asking each and every woman to talk about the name of this series is called Lessons and Blessings. And so I want you to share a lesson that you may have learned from your mom, from your grandparents, from whoever, just from life. Or what is your greatest lesson that you can share with another woman?
My greatest lesson is to continue that I got from, um, I'll say, all of the women in my life, um, is to continue to be resilient. Just continue to hold your head as high as you can.
Yes.
Continue to walk with God. I know it get hard.
Yes.
I know it can get weary, and I know you might even get angry. But if you are resilient and you are steadfast in your faith, faith will do so much. It will do so much, and I know that might sound cliche, but it's not. And so that's one thing that I have seen from all the women in my family, and that's not discrediting none of the men, but all the women in my family have shown resilience. So I would just tell any woman, just be resilient. Just continue to be resilient. Continue to go and be led by the Spirit wherever God leads you. Because sometimes God will disrupt your whole life,
Yeah,
totally change your whole path. But you still just being obedient because it's much greater than sacrifice. And just continue to be resilient.
I love it. I love it. Uh, my heart is just, knowing that, we have shared some similar thoughts. Just statistically, I know that there are women out there that are suffering and men out there that are suffering. Um, and understanding that you do not have to suffer. You don't have to suffer through. And the biggest thing is that Christians, we suffer the most because that whole, them twins, guilt and shame, honey, they try to come and take over. But
But we got
understanding
bigger
that
sins, grace and mercy.
I'm about to say, that's what I was exactly about to say. Grace and mercy, honey. Me and Shanita talked about it yesterday. Grace and mercy, baby. Yes, honey. Grace and mercy uh, are with you, are with you. And so know that it may look like, I call him the devil. He sits on your shoulder. He talks to you, honey. He will create mirages. You know what mirage is? It looks like it's real. So he will make you, like Crystal said, he'll create these things and thing after thing after thing. And you're like, it's never going to be over. What's the point? I promise you that it will be over. I promise you that the storm is going to pass. I promise you. Just keep walking, baby. Just keep walking.
That's right. And even if it, and like Pastor said too, just correlating to what you said, even if it's not always the devil,
Yes.
sometimes God wants to see
Do
you
you
keep
trust
going.
me? Do you trust me?
Sometimes He want to see you. Sometimes He want to see your decision making.
Yes.
Sometimes He want to see, you know, will you let choices choose you, or will
Mm,
you choose me over choices?
wow. Wow. Yes. Well, baby, we got to wrap up, honey. Today, baby, listen, I've been telling you, if you don't get nothing out of this, I told you I know amazing women, honey. If I told you you was going to be inspired and empowered today, honey, I don't know who all this was for because we went way deep. I don't know who it was
We
for. Somebody needed
did.
that deep, baby. Somebody needed that deep. And I'm all right with it. Whatever the Lord takes us and moves, wherever He goes, that's what we're doing. I'm sharing the stories of amazing, phenomenal women, the women that are in your life from day to day. So I want you to stop taking the women in your life for granted, honey. Call somebody that has inspired you. Call somebody who has empowered you and let them know. Because they may not know how much you mean to them. They mean to you, right? Call them and let them know. So, Crystal, thank you. Thank you for your transparency. Thank you for sharing your testimony. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for pouring into us every Sunday. Thank you for being you, honey. You are a beautiful spirit.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
beautiful
you.
spirit. And I'm
I
grateful for you.
do. I'm that listen, much obliged for sure. Thank you for having me,
Yeah,
and God bless all the women and the men that are watching or will watch. And
yeah,
I pray that God continues to be a testimony, to be a testament in your life, and to continuously help you with your walk.
yes. Well, y'all know how I've been doing this each and every day of this month. It is Women's History Month. And each and every day, I am introducing you to another amazing woman. So join me tomorrow. I will have another phenomenal woman available for you to hear her story, for you to get empowered and inspired. You know how I do it. I aspire to inspire until I expire, honey. That's what I'm doing. What you doing? Mhm. All right, y'all. Bye.